After the inevitable battle with Rise Black, Rise realized that he must train to get even stronger, and realizes that his limits have not been reached yet. He actually remembers that at one point their fusion used a power that he was actually not familiar with. For a split moment, their fusion's eyes became yellowish. Though, of course, Raz thought that it was just maybe something unique to a fusion, but after some time, Raz realized that it was actually something that the fusion was trying to tap into a battle, while also being Super Saiyan Blue, and because the power of Super Saiyan Blue, it overpowered the power that was about to come, which surprised Raz. So Raz decided to practically experimented as he trained inside the time chamber. Would test if he will feel the same power, but through many events, he could not do it. Even after he spent at least 3 years of training inside with both Goku and Vegeta, still nothing came out. Of course, he did try to practice a lot more, but he'd still spend time with his family, using a time chamber so he can spend a lot more time. So yeah. Eventually, both Goku and Raditz would relax together, and eventually Goku would ask his brother what he was doing. Raditz, of course, would say that he actually has something, an idea of mind. He knows the limits of Super Saiyan 3, but he ponders if there's a form beyond Super Saiyan 3, not just Super Saiyan God or Blue, but maybe a form they can achieve which is a path beyond it. Goku ponders if Raz means like something like a Super Saiyan 4, and Raz says exactly. Goku ponders that it maybe is possible, but he cannot do it since he doesn't have his tail. Raz just points out to his tail, as Goku realizes that Raz meant himself and apologizes, which of course Raz tells him that it's no problem, since he is the only Saiyan currently who has a tail. And Gohan does not have his, nor his daughter, so it's kind of complicated. Though telling that he'll maybe achieve it in the future, Rise smiles and thinks the same as well. Of course, most events that lead to tournament power will still begin. Of course, the tournament will still begin, but instead of Frieza's place, it will be Raditz instead. And also, all the Z-Fighters are much stronger than canon, so yeah, it will be more powerful and stronger than canon. Of course, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Raditz will be ready, being serious almost like Piccolo himself. With of course all Z-Fighters being incredibly strong themselves. Of course, 17 would have joined because of Rat, since Rat is actually kind of a sparring partner to 17, and actually train with the android so he can get stronger. Of course, even 18 did that same. Though her progress was not as big as 17's, her power increase was immense because they had practically trained their team for at least 1 year inside a time chamber, so all of them could get stronger. Yoko also taught some of the humans how to utilize the power of the Kaioken, just in case they needed it. Now tournament would begin, and most of the events would happen the same as the original, except if Goku would meet Jiren way early on. Because of Goku's power being so overwhelming, Jiren would decide to practically face Goku, seeing as the most biggest threat. But he can also tell that Raditz is also a big threat himself, almost like Vegeta as well. So he went to face Goku, and eventually both start to fight. At first, Goku's base is actually doing pretty good, but eventually Goku must step further back, and eventually powers up to Super Saiyan 2, now decides to skip Super Saiyan. And eventually starts to actually move Jiren. Of course, Jiren starts to actually slightly block with his hands, but not too much. Goku then powers to Super Saiyan God, and eventually Jiren actually starts to struggle slightly, with this seemingly being much more as Goku then powers to Super Saiyan Blue. Now, it was seen like Goku's power is now almost even to Jiren's, and Jiren starts to get serious as he starts the battle, where Jiren actually realizes that Goku's power was immense. In with just this form, Goku was able to put up a match against Jiren. Even Belmont was shocked that his strongest warrior was actually starting to struggle with Goku's form. Of course, Belmont think that maybe Goku's form is only just Super Saiyan Blue, but of course Beerus would just laugh, saying to Belmont that he's really underestimating his warrior. Of course, Belmont was confused with what Beerus means, but eventually Goku powers up even more, with his power eventually reaching the level of Master Super Saiyan Blue, with his power increasing immensely. Jiren had to push his power as well, and he starts to get pushed back by Goku's power. It seems that both were now evenly matched, and Belmont was in shock. How is a mortal from Beerus' universe as strong as his strongest warrior? How is it possible? Belmont ponders to himself as he's really worried, thinking that Jiren may lose, but deep down he knows that maybe Jiren will be able to pull it off, but he's not quite sure. Eventually, battle continues on, and eventually, Goku starts to use more and more of his power to smash Super Saiyan Blue, and Jiren starts to get even more of his power, since he was going further to try to push Goku back, but Goku was not giving up, continuing to battle with Jiren, it seeming like their battle was going on for a while. But eventually, Goku would focus, and eventually a white aura color on Goku, and for a moment, it will be in shock, except for, of course, Beerus and Whis, as they will both smile. Now realizing that Goku is able to tap into it, finally. As Beerus smiles, as Goku steps out of the light. With the same aura covering him, his eyes go silver and his hair becomes silverish black. As Beerus says that this is the power of autonomous Ultra Instinct. Every god of destruction is in shock, even the Kai's as well, as he feel the immense power for Goku alone. His aura alone is able to almost fill the entire infinite void just by his mere presence. This of course shocks all the gods as he can feel the immense pressure from Goku's aura alone. Even though they can barely felt his ki, his aura alone is strong enough to be comparable to a ki of a true god of destruction. And which just smiles to the side, alongside Raditz, as not only their rival but also brother have now become even stronger. Goku started to walk closer to Jiren, and his power was immense. Jiren empowered even more, now at full power, and Goku looked at him seriously, and tells Jiren to not hold back, or else he'll be eliminated. Jiren, taking everything seriously, fights against Goku, with Goku's power being immense. But even with that, the power of Ultra Instinct is just not permanent, as Goku would have thought of, and eventually was able to run out. Of course, Raditz was able to save him just in the nick of time, able to give him some enough energy to recover, almost like he did 17 as well. Goku would thank them, and eventually the tournament will begin. We'll continue. As for Raditz, he was able to practically use the power of Super Saiyan Blue to fight off many universes and eventually get a lot of eliminations. This, of course, will go on for a long while, as eventually Toppo was able to stop Raditz, telling that enough is enough, and he'll practically stop in Universe 7 if it means costing his pride. Of course, Raditz is confused with what Toppo means, but eventually Toppo powers up into his God Destruction mode. Surprising Raditz, he thought that no one was able to practically achieve his power, but he doubts that Vegeta is able to not do the same. Of course, Toppo tells Raditz to give up, saying that it's no use, and powers up a Hakai Ball, blasting it at Raditz as Raditz is able to block the attack. But Raditz starts to get injured and tired out because of Toppo's immense power and destructive energy. You saw that even Raditz himself was impressed by. The power that Toppo possessed nearby himself was something that Raditz was deeply impressed. But though, of course, Toppo would then fire a massive Hakai, and eventually Raditz's power would not be enough to block it. When that he started to get out of the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, Raditz would scream as he'll get enveloped by the Hakai. Everyone will be in shock, even Toppo will be shocked as well, as he realized that he put too much power into his Hakai Ball. Eventually Raditz would start to scream in pain, but eventually his screams in pain would turn to screams of rage. Rage towards himself for not being strong enough, for not strong enough to even keep up with his brother anymore, for not being strong enough to protect his family, to not being strong enough to help out everyone. This anger starts to bulge in Raditz, and eventually the Hakai Ball starts to get shiny glows. And eventually Raditz's aura explodes into a yellowish one. Raditz screaming louder as his entire aura explodes, shaking the entire place as every fire that's on the arena is shot by Raditz's immense power. Even Goku himself could feel that Raditz's power is almost comparable to his when he first activated Ultra Instinct, and Raditz's power alone showers the entire giant ball of Hakai, surprising Toppo at every god of destruction as well, because they could feel that even they themselves will have at least like trouble dealing with this type of Hakai. But eventually Raditz was then able to step out, though his form was much changed. He was now having red fur on top of his body, and had a red tail, and his hair was much longer, but it was also much spikier than the original. It won't be in shock as Raditz smiles, with the red aura covering him, as Raditz tells him that he has finally achieved the pinnacle of the Saiyan race. This is what he calls Super Saiyan 4. Now, this is not just any Super Saiyan 4. Due to Raditz's constant training and mixture with God Ki of this form, Raditz practically achieved something equivalent to Limit Breaker, but in a different way. Instead of practically emitting the God Ki itself, Raditz absorbed the God Ki within the form and now utilizing it to his full potential. And utilizing the power of the Saiyan race, Raditz now achieved his own variation of a Super Saiyan 4. And he decides to call it True Super Saiyan 4. In this form, Raditz was immensely strong, and his aura alone was able to find Toppo, as he could feel that his aura alone could destroy Hakai Ball with ease. And of course Raditz will smile and tells Toppo if he is scared to face him. Toppo of course tries to attack Raditz, but Raditz's instant punch to Toppo's stomach is able to knock him unconscious. Surprisingly, Belmont with just one blow when his second strongest fire was easily eliminated. Of course, Goku was able to also bring out this thanks to help of Piccolo and their teamwork, able to practically outmatch the Pride Trooper, even though his speed was immense. Eventually, Vegeta also decided to join, and eventually decided to show his own power. Eventually, Vegeta would power up, and eventually fight against Jiren. Though Jiren was impressed by Vegeta's power, he was not impressed as much, and eventually starts to overpower Vegeta, but Vegeta just smiles, and tells Jiren that he has seen what the Saiyans can do and break their limits here and now, and he will do the same. If Vegeta then roars, his roar could be heard as Beerus smiles that tells Vegeta to break through his limits. Of course, Bell was confused what Beerus means, but eventually Vegeta's aura alone pushes almost everyone back. Vegeta roars, and his blue aura starts to darken in color, turning to dark purple, and eventually they see a blue light. And that blue light starts to light even further as it turns purple. And eventually, Vegeta walks out of the light, holding a Kai ball as he disperses it with his mere presence alone. Vegeta has now achieved Ultra Ego. This, of course, shocks Belmont, as he could not even believe that someone other than Toppo was able to achieve the power of God destruction. But, of course, Beerus just laughs. It tells him that Vegeta did not only achieve the power of God destruction, but he made it his. This is a form that every God destruction has, but now Vegeta has also achieved it. Toppo could not even grasp on the power of this form because he's only achieved the first variation of it, while Vegeta was able to achieve the completed version, making him even stronger than Toppo in his Kakashi mode. This, of course, surprised Toppo as he could not realize that there was actually a level above his God destruction mode. It was actually something that even Toppo himself didn't know, but Belmont didn't knew that, which is surprising. As Vegeta starts to battle with Jiren, but eventually another light will appear, with that bluish and purple light also covering the entire arena, where Goku's screams could be heard, and Vegeta smiles, saying that it's finally time for Goku to join him. And eventually Goku walks out, now in Master Ultra Instinct. Due to seeing both his brother and Vegeta pushing themselves beyond their limits, Goku decided to also do the same once again, and push himself even further as well. Achieve Master Ultra Instinct, though this Master Ultra Instinct is much more different. Due to Goku being focused on the task ahead, Goku's Ultra Instinct is much more stable than it would have been previously. So with this, Goku and Vegeta alongside Raditz would then begin to battle against Jiren, with them battling as one being. With both Goku and Vegeta's teamwork alongside Raditz's teamwork as well, is able to provide an immense power gap, even with Jiren utilizing his own limit breaker for transformation. Even with this, he was still pushed back and could not even hold a ground against the three powerful Saiyans. Two who have achieved the powers of both Angel and the God of Destruction, and the one who's going on the path of the primal power of the Saiyans. This is proven that mortals could surpass the gods if given enough time and determination. And eventually, with the final blow from the three warriors, they're able to eliminate Jiren and eventually win the tournament. Due to Raditz having the most eliminations out of the three of them, Raditz was chosen to have the Super Dragon Balls and do what he wishes. Eventually, Raditz decided to practically write all the universes seen as they should not be erased, seeing as he sees as a pointless task, and wants everyone to live their own lives to continue on until their deaths. Of course, Zeno smiles at Raditz's words and says that he's really wise, just like his brother. Of course, Raditz will smile and thanks Zeno, and of course bow slightly, and eventually Zeno tells that it's no problem. Eventually, all the fighters were sent back to their own universes, with Goku and Vegeta being happy they're able to achieve new levels of power, and Raditz as well. But they know that they still need to master these powers, as they drop down to base, exhausted, but determined to master these powers to their very limits. But little that they knew is that our heroes will face even a bigger threat, known as Moro. But this is the end for this part. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next one. Sayonara.